Welcome to yet another great episode of Under SF. I'm your host, AJ Datanagan.
And my name is Loriana. Today's topic in the spotlight is San Francisco's tattoo culture.
Now, San Francisco has always been a city that thrives on creativity and self-expression. Therefore, it's no surprise that one of the most dynamic tattoo cultures in America resides in this very city.
The environment inspires tattoos of all kinds. People from all over come to San Francisco for the authenticity of the artists here.
Artist authenticity leads to quality tattoo work and satisfied customers. This makes SF not just a place to get quality tattoos, but a community of enthusiasts enjoying a common passion, one of humanity's oldest traditions.
That's right, archaeologists found mummified tattooed bodies from 2,000 years ago. More recently, a body was found that carbon dates back 5,000 years with tattoos on hands, chest, and face. Wow, AJ, 5,000 years ago. Can you imagine how wrinkly this tattoo must look?
I know, you're probably gonna need an iron for that guy. Looks like tattoos are even more permanent than we thought. However, the purpose of tattoos has changed over the years. It was once highly ritualized and spiritual, and today there's less of that aspect, but the meaning has stayed just as significant.
San Francisco location itself has shaped the tattoo industry. During World War II, and thousands of military personnel were stationed all across the city. Sailors are famed for their love of tattoos, and it is said that their love gave strength to the tattoo business.
Now that strength led into the 1970s and the American tattoo renaissance. Western artists found inspiration in Japanese traditional body art and brought that inspiration to San Francisco.
Still to this day, tattoo shops can be found in every corner of San Francisco. In fact, the city was and is still considered the cradle of tattoo civilization.
Now, the Haight District houses some of the most well-known shops in the West Coast, such as Haight Ashbury Tattoo and Piercing, Mom's Body Shop, and Rose Gold's Tattoo and Piercing.
Tattoos are put on the surface of the skin, but the real meaning is much deeper.
Every tattoo shop and every tattoo has a story behind it. And after the break, we'll hear from local tattoo enthusiasts about the meaning behind their ink.
We will also hear from the artists who made those meanings come to life. See you soon.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Welcome back to Under SF. Not only are tattoos a history lesson, but a personal history of one's life experiences as well.
You're about to hear firsthand what it's like to permanently mark the bits of history onto your body from some tattoo enthusiasts themselves.
Also, we got the pleasure of speaking to Castro Tattoo's very own Frank McManus. He was kind enough to sit down with us and give us insight into his career as a tattoo artist.
My name's John Arthur Bobrovsky. I'm a fifth-year student here at State. I'm a marine biology major. So I was born and raised in Santa Cruz, California.
I'm Holly Rodriguez, and I'm a senior at State. I'm a psychology major, and I'm from Lafayette, California.
I'm Casey Feebig. I'm a senior at SF State in the interior design department.
My first tattoo, I guess a bunch of my friends, or actually not a bunch, about 3 other of my friends have the same tattoo. So I decided to get the same tattoo, and it's just kind of a bunch of really close friends from back home. All my tattoos have like a cool, I just like them, they look cool, they have a story behind them, and they're all pretty meaningful in their own way.
When I was 18, I got this one, and so it's a rose, and like the symbolism of it is innocence is bliss. Because when I was a little girl, we had like all these rose bushes in my backyard. So I used to go, and I was like 2 and 3. I used to go and like pick a rose and like put it in like a little shot glass with water and like go give it to my mom. And like there's a couple photos of me just like holding like a rose and like giving it to my mom, and like, so I always thought that was so sweet because when you're little, it's just like so simple, you know. I was like, oh, beautiful flower, you know. So I just really liked that. It reminds me of my mom and just reminds me to like the simple things.
I have another tattoo on my left shoulder here, and that one is it's an ocean scene. It's a picture of a wave, and it was actually drawn by my mother's mother, so my grandmother, because she was an artist of sorts, and she actually wrote a poetry book, and this is a drawing that came from it. I really it resonates with me because it's a picture of a wave, and I'm a marine biologist and I love the ocean, so I grew up just in Santa Cruz, always going to the beach, hanging out. I have not put any tattoos that are visible if I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I think that's just, I don't know, I don't need to have tattoos like showing everywhere. Eventually I probably will, but right now I still got like my legs and my whole torso to cover in tattoos.
I have 7. They're all on my back. I'm trying to fill my back up completely with tattoos. I have Dominici, there's a bumblebee, there's a mermaid.
This one I got pretty recently actually, because like since I've moved to San Francisco, I just felt that I was really working on like my balance in my life, you know, like what's important to me with like school and work and friendships and like my health, and mandalas symbolize peace and balance, and so it's like a constant reminder to me that like my health and like well-being and what I do on like a day-to-day basis is like important to me.
I have a mannequin and I have Kate, which is my most meaningful tattoo. I have Kate because my best friend passed away like 4 months ago from a drug overdose. And there's waves because she loved the ocean. And there's a circle because her and my other best friend like went and got circle tattoos to be circle sisters, and I was like too chicken to do it. But then she passed away, so then I got the circle with her name in it with the waves. I love the way I'm perceived by having tattoos. I wish they could be all over me. Like when I was a kid, there's actually pictures of me when I was 5, like in kindergarten. I had those like stick-on tattoos on my face, all over my arms. I give myself sleeves. I would like be in the bathroom for like an hour, like rubbing them all on, and then go to kindergarten that way. Like I always knew this is how I'm like meant to look, and I can't wait to like cement my career so that I can like get blasted everywhere.
I catch people like looking at my arm when they're like talking to me, or like they'll look at it first like now that I'm like talking to my teachers or something. But I don't think it's necessarily negative. I think it's just like, oh, like something to look at, you know? So and I think it goes with like my style and like my personality and all that, so yeah.
I got into tattooing about 11 years ago. I was working at a gas station, and somebody just saw my artwork. I was always drawing there. And they brought me into their tattoo shop, and I met the guys, and they liked me and liked my stuff, and I started my apprenticeship that week. But I had already been tattooed. I got my first tattoo when I was 17, and it was just some weird tribal dragon I drew up that I thought was awesome. So when I got my first tattoo, I drew it up first and just brought it to the guy at like a well-known shop in the area, yeah, he just put it on me. I wanted exactly how I drew it, you know, which later on I found out was a mistake because I'm always looking at it and like picking it apart now, you know what I mean? When I got my apprenticeship, I had already been an artist, like, since I can remember. Just always drawing, painting. But my apprenticeship was about 2 years, and that's where I learned the craft, basically, even how to draw a tattoo. You know, just because even though I could paint and I was more of a fine artist and had the eye for art, it's not necessarily a tattoo yet. You know what I mean? What looks good on paper or canvas is not going to look good on your skin. So I had to almost relearn a lot of my techniques. Tattooing's way more difficult than a lot of other art forms, I think, only because you're dealing with a live person and pain and even emotional stuff, you know, depending on what they're getting, and working with that person and kind of getting over that artist ego that comes out when you paint on canvas, because you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? You can ascribe your own identity to whatever you're doing. When you're working on a person and working on a design that's really special to them, you have to do them justice. I got lucky. I got started in San Francisco tattooing when I first moved here. I was looking at Craigslist, and I got lucky because a lot of shops that are advertising for help on Craigslist aren't the most reputable. Like, there's a reason they need people, you know? But yeah, I found this shop. I talked to Hannah, the owner. I did an audition tattoo on somebody that I met out here. And she liked my stuff and gave me the job. And I've been here ever since for a little over 2 years. I think people tolerate tattoos more than they used to. I don't think it's necessarily more positive. I think now it's just become almost regular, just a regular part of, like, they're used to seeing tattoos. It's not such a shock anymore, you know? But I would say specifically, like, with workplace stuff, it's a lot more acceptable in a lot of different workplaces, especially like California, New York, Philly, you know, in those areas. So yeah, it's a lot more acceptable, but I think for the most part it's still the same. I mean, it's still this kind of weird thing to people. You know, it's very alien and extreme to a lot of people, you know, but I like that. I don't want it to be normal ever, you know.
Welcome back. In this episode, we would regret if we didn't show you tattooing for the beautiful art form that it is.
You know what, Laura? I think I know what tattoo you should get.
Oh yeah? Me? Tattoo? What's that?
Okay, so you know how Mike Tyson, he's pretty fierce, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, St. John, you so fierce. So check this out. If you had one of these, right, you're pretty fierce, but if you had double the trouble, oh my God, you would be so fierce.
What? No, okay. I'll get that tattoo if you get a lower back tattoo. How does that sound?
Already have one.
Oh, geez. AJ.
It's a butterfly, all right? There's nothing wrong with having a butterfly, all right? As long as you accept your inner manliness, you can put a butterfly wherever you want to.
Unlike a painting or a sculpture, where the artist can have multiple revisions and work on it freely, tattooing is in the moment, art in real time. We followed that theme and captured it on an actual tattoo experience on film.
So this is a traditional tattoo machine. It's based on a doorbell design from actually the 1800s, still to this day. It's Tim Hendricks, who's a great tattoo artist, super great machine builder. It's one of my favorite machines. It's just basically a magnet. The needle hooks onto here, and when these coils activate, the magnet sucks the bar down, which pushes the needle down, and then lets go. So it's just an open and closed circuit over and over again. And it probably goes maybe about 100 cycles per second, meaning it goes up and down 100 times per second. So the needle will actually be penetrating 40, 50 times per second. So it goes really fast, and basically all it creates is a brush burn on your skin. It's tattooing is just technically an abrasion. We keep everything super sterile and covered up. Everything's wrapped with plastic. The tube that the needle goes in that I hang on to is pre-sterilized in gas. Needle, it's all single use. We throw everything away at the end of the tattoo. You ready to go?
Ready.
All right, cool.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back to the studio, where we have the pleasure of speaking to Caitlin Bryant about her newest and nicest, I'll say, tattoo. I haven't even been able to see it in person, but you have to tell me, did it hurt?
Honestly, not really. It didn't take too long. It took about max 10 minutes. And the placement of it on my arm wasn't too painful.
Do you think we can get a sneak peek?
So it looks like.
There it is, I love it. And can you tell me the meaning behind it?
So this is a semicolon, believe it or not. It looks a little scabby right now. It's gonna take about a week or two to heal fully. So basically, I started this journal about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where I'd go around the city and I would ask people all over on the Muni, at the park, at the grocery store, if you could pass along a personal piece of life advice that you would give to a complete stranger, what would that be? So I have this journal and it's filled with over like 200, 250 quotes. And I'm a writer. I love writing. It's a huge passion of mine. So I started writing this book called Hello Stranger, where I go around, talk to people. I take those quotes that I've gotten from them, put it in a book, and each chapter is like a personal event that I've been through in my life, intertwined with quotes from these strangers to tie in how we're all related to one another without knowing it. So the semicolon just reflects something that could have ended, but goes on anyway.
Wow, that's really deep. I like that a lot. Did you have a semicolon moment with your tattoo artist?
No, I don't think so. We really vibed off of each other really well. Everything kind of went exactly how I thought it would, and yeah, we just worked great together.
So it's kind of like, the way I like to look at it is, it's kind of like a haircut situation where you're sitting with your tattoo artist, they're doing their thing, and you're sitting there like, how do you vibe if you're just sitting there?
Like sitting there before the procedure actually happens, or during? Like,
both.
Well, both. Before, it's kind of like getting to know each other, I guess, like a first date kind of thing. And then once you're, doing the procedure, I think it's trying to make me feel comfortable in his position, so to be as relaxed as I can. So we're just talking, and yeah, worked out.
Was it unique being recorded during such an uncomfortable kind of situation?
No, it was something I've really been looking forward to. So it didn't bother me at all who was in the room. It could have been anyone in the room. So recorded or not, I was comfortable either way.
That's really cool. So when you went in there, were you just like, hi, I want this, and then was he just like, okay, that's it, or was there a bigger explanation than that?
Yeah, so the only kind of, I guess, pre-procedure thing that we did was look over different types of semicolons. Believe it or not, there's different styles, different fonts that they would use. So we kind of picked out, what size we would do, like what type of font we would use. I think we used a pretty generic font. It has to be like an Arial or something like that. And yeah, chose the size, really happy with it. Not too big, not too small, and just with my writing hand, so
I like
works
that.
out for me.
I like that you guys have different fonts. You're like,
yeah.
You can go with Comic Sans,
right.
Papyrus.
Exactly. And it's taken like seriously too, like, oh, I don't know, but.
He's like, ooh, you might want to avoid Papyrus. It's a little pricey.
Yeah, exactly.
Comic Sans.
You want to take it down a little bit, take it down a notch, take it to a Times New Roman.
Yeah, don't go Broadway. That's
right.
where it's expensive.
Exactly.
And do you plan on getting more tattoos?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm half Filipino, so I just got back from my very first trip in the Philippines in January. And my family's from the region of Cebu. So I'm thinking of getting, well, I'm not thinking, I know I'm getting, the outline of Cebu on this side of my body here.
Nice, and what are the other tattoos that you have?
So I have two other tattoos. I have a small to medium-sized tattoo on my ribs over here, and it says, "So it goes." It's a quote from Kurt Vonnegut's book, Slaughterhouse-Five. It's one of my favorite books. And I really like the meaning of it. I like the simplicity of it, that life just goes on. And my other tattoo is on my foot. It's an Army dog tag, and it says, my father, my hero. And it's the date that my dad was born and the day he passed away. So,
oh man,
yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah, so that one actually was the most emotional one for me, and it's on my foot. So both the emotional process was painful, and then also the foot placement. Everyone will tell you that foot tattoos hurt a lot.
Well, you said that you have a foot tattoo, but you also said you have a rib tattoo. I hear rib tattoos are kind of hurtful.
You know, for some reason, maybe because it was my second tattoo, so I kind of went in with an expectation of what the pain level would be like. It didn't hurt as much. It was more enjoyable, actually. So, but maybe I have a high tolerance or low tolerance for pain.
I guess so. That's really unique. If you were to recommend, like, someone who hasn't gotten a tattoo, like let's say me, I haven't gotten a tattoo, how would you say to like go about something like that?
I definitely think you should put some time into it, decide if that's really what you want to do, and then go forward. I mean, don't listen to what anybody else says, like, oh, you know, it might not look good professionally, or like, are you sure you'll want that in 20 years? Like, if it's what you really want to do, do it.
That's a really good piece of advice. And if someone didn't know what kind of tattoo, let's say they just wanted a tattoo. I know a couple buddies of mine used to be like that until they finally picked the one that they were looking for. Is there something you would recommend? Something you'd be like, oh, this is a good starter?
Oh gosh, not really. I think, yeah, that's a hard question to answer. I think, because everybody has such different ideas of what they'd want to do. Like, for instance, a lot of people have rose tattoos, and that could mean something different based on the person. So I think just get what you want, I guess. My biggest advice that I've done so far is make sure you have a shot of whiskey before you go in, even though they say it's probably not the best idea to do. It's calmed my nerves a little bit, so.
Yeah, and it seems like you're like well calm, and you can like easily do this now at the point like where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get my next tattoo pretty soon, and you're just really chill about it. Whereas like to someone like me, I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be a really scary experience. I can't even imagine.
Well, bring a friend, have someone hold your hand. I don't know how lame that sounds or not, but it actually does help knowing that somebody's there, somebody who cares about you and supports you.
Well, thank you so much for not only letting us film such a significant moment for you, but for also sitting down with us today. Caitlin, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Under SF. Tune in next week for our episode on stand-up comedy in San Francisco. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry. I'm AJ for Laura Ariano. See you next week right here on Under SF.